Hello, friends. Have you ever met someone who could understand people within minutes? They could tell who was confident, who was hiding fear, who could be trusted, and who was simply wearing a mask. It almost looked like a supernatural ability. But it wasn't magic at all. It was observation. Most people spend their lives listening only to words, while the truly influential people learn to read expressions, body language, emotions, habits, silence, and hidden intentions. That is where real human psychology begins. Read people like a book is not about manipulating others or controlling their minds. It is about developing the awareness to understand what people often communicate without saying a single word. The greatest advantage in life is not having all the answers. It is learning how people think, why they behave the way they do, and what truly drives their decisions. Once you understand that, your relationships improve, your confidence grows, and your ability to make better decisions becomes stronger than ever before. Every conversation becomes easier because you...
Healthy eating doesn't have to be boring. What if every meal was high in protein and under 500 calories? Discover 100 delicious, easy-to-make recipes for muscle building, weight loss, and everyday nutrition. For crazy discount, check pinned comment. Get your copy today and start your healthy journey.
Stop reacting only to words and begin noticing the emotions behind them. The first lesson is surprisingly simple. People reveal themselves all the time, but most of us are too distracted to notice. We hear sentences, but ignore facial expressions. We remember promises, but forget actions. We believe explanations while overlooking consistent patterns. Human psychology teaches that behavior is always more honest than language. Anyone can claim to be loyal, kind, or confident, but only repeated actions reveal the truth. If someone's words and actions constantly disagree, trust the actions because they are usually far more accurate than the story being told. This single habit can protect you from disappointment in friendships, relationships, business, and everyday life. Another important principle is understanding emotions rather than judging behavior. Every action has an emotional cause. Anger often hides fear. Arrogance frequently hides insecurity. Excessive confidence can sometimes hide self-doubt. Silence may represent wisdom, but it can also reveal emotional exhaustion. The mistake most people make is reacting to visible behavior without asking what invisible emotion created it. Someone who constantly interrupts others may not simply be rude. They may desperately want recognition. Someone who always seeks approval may not lack intelligence, but may have grown up believing their worth depended on pleasing others. The more you understand emotional causes instead of surface behavior, the easier it becomes to communicate with empathy while protecting yourself from manipulation. Observation also requires patience. Most people form opinions within seconds, but psychology teaches that first impressions are often incomplete. One conversation rarely reveals a person's true character. Stress, excitement, fear, or unfamiliar situations can temporarily change behavior. Instead of making immediate judgments, observe patterns across different situations. How does someone behave when things go wrong? How do they treat people who cannot benefit them? How did they respond when they make a mistake? These moments often reveal more than hours of casual conversation. Character becomes visible when comfort disappears. Body language is another silent language that speaks constantly. Confident people usually occupy space naturally without trying to dominate others. They maintain comfortable eye contact, relaxed posture, and calm movements. Nervous people often fidget, avoid eye contact, touch their face repeatedly, or display inconsistent gestures. However, no single gesture should ever be interpreted alone. Human behavior is complex. One crossed arm does not automatically mean defensiveness. One smile does not always mean happiness. The real skill lies in observing clusters of behaviors instead of isolated actions. When several signals point toward the same emotional state, your understanding becomes much more accurate. Listening is equally important. Most conversations are not actually conversations. They are two people waiting for their turn to speak. Great observers listen with curiosity instead of preparing responses. They notice the words people repeat, the topics they avoid, the stories they tell most often, and the emotions attached to certain memories. These details quietly reveal personal values, fears, ambitions, and insecurities. Someone who constantly talks about status may secretly crave validation. Someone who repeatedly mentions security may value stability above excitement. People unknowingly reveal their priorities through repetition. Human psychology also teaches that everyone wears social masks. At work, people display professionalism. Around family, they may become emotional. With close friends, they become relaxed. None of these versions are necessarily fake. Human beings naturally adapt to different environments. The challenge is recognizing the consistent personality beneath every role. Integrity appears when a person's values remain stable, even as situations change. Self-awareness is just as important as reading others. Before understanding another person's emotions, you must recognize your own biases. If you expect someone to be dishonest, your brain may search only for evidence supporting that belief. If you admire someone too much, you may ignore obvious warning signs. Psychology reminds us that perception is influenced by expectation. The clearer your own mind becomes, the more accurately you understand everyone else. Finally, remember that the purpose of reading people is not to gain power over them. It is to develop wisdom. When you understand human nature, you become calmer during conflict, wiser in choosing relationships, stronger against manipulation, and more compassionate toward genuine struggles. Instead of reacting emotionally to every situation, you begin responding thoughtfully. That quiet awareness becomes one of the greatest strengths a person can possess, because the better you understand people, the better you understand life itself. The deeper you study human psychology, the more you realize that people rarely make decisions based purely on logic. Most decisions are driven by emotion first and justified with logic afterward. A person may say they bought something because it was the best option, but often the real reason is that it made them feel important, safe, respected, or accepted. Understanding this changes the way you communicate. Instead of focusing only on facts, you begin paying attention to emotions. When you understand what someone values emotionally, you understand what motivates their actions. This principle applies everywhere, in friendships, business, leadership, and everyday conversations. People remember how you make them feel far longer than they remember the exact words you said. Another powerful lesson is learning to recognize emotional patterns. Every person has emotional triggers that influence their behavior. Some react strongly to criticism because they fear rejection. Others become defensive whenever they feel ignored. Some seek constant praise because their confidence depends on external validation. These patterns are rarely created overnight. They are usually built through years of experiences, habits, and beliefs. Instead of judging people for their reactions, try understanding the emotional history behind them. This does not mean accepting unhealthy behavior, but it helps you respond with wisdom instead of anger. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing confidence always looks loud. In reality, genuine confidence is often quiet. Truly confident people do not constantly seek attention or approval. They are comfortable listening more than speaking. They admit when they are wrong. They do not feel the need to win every argument because their self-worth is not dependent on proving themselves. In contrast, people who constantly boast, interrupt others, or demand recognition may actually be hiding deep insecurity. Human psychology reminds us that appearances can be misleading. What looks like strength on the outside sometimes hides fear within. Trust is another subject that deserves careful attention. Trust should never be built only through promises. It should be built through consistency. A trustworthy person behaves similarly regardless of the situation. Their values remain stable even when circumstances become difficult. They keep small promises as seriously as large ones. They accept responsibility instead of searching for excuses. Observing consistency over time gives you a far clearer picture of someone's character than any impressive speech ever could. This is why patience is such an important psychological skill. Time reveals what words often hide. Human psychology also teaches the importance of emotional control. When someone knows exactly how to provoke you, they can often influence your decisions. If every criticism makes you angry, or every compliment changes your confidence, your emotions are being controlled by external circumstances. Real strength comes from learning to pause before reacting. A calm mind sees details that an emotional mind completely misses. The more emotionally balanced you become, the easier it is to understand others without becoming trapped inside their emotional storms. Equally important is learning to observe yourself. Before reading other people accurately, you must become aware of your own emotions, assumptions, and habits. Self-awareness protects you from misunderstanding others through the filter of your own fears or expectations. When you understand your own motivations, your judgments become clearer and your relationships become healthier. In the end, mastering human psychology is not about becoming suspicious of everyone around you. It is about becoming more aware, more patient, and more emotionally intelligent. The goal is not to manipulate people, but to understand them. When you understand why people think, feel, and behave the way they do, you communicate better, choose relationships more wisely, avoid unnecessary conflict, and build deeper trust. That is the true meaning of reading people like a book. You are not reading pages. You are learning to read emotions, patterns, actions, and character. And once you develop that ability, you no longer see the world only through words. You begin seeing the deeper human story behind every conversation, every decision, and every relationship, making you not only a better observer, but also a wiser and more compassionate person. The greatest lesson in understanding people is that no technique, no observation, and no psychological principle will ever be more powerful than genuine awareness. Many people spend years trying to discover secret tricks that allow them to instantly know who can be trusted, who is lying, or what someone is thinking. The truth is far simpler. Human psychology is not about reading minds. It is about learning to notice what has always been in front of you. Most people reveal themselves every single day through their habits, decisions, emotional reactions, priorities, and consistency. The problem is that we are usually too distracted by appearances to notice the deeper reality. We become impressed by confidence without asking whether it is supported by character. We trust charming words without paying attention to repeated actions. We judge people by their image instead of their values. The moment you begin slowing down and observing carefully, you realize that people constantly communicate far more than they intend to. Their choices reveal their priorities. Their habits reveal their discipline. Their reactions reveal their emotional maturity. Their treatment of others revealed their character. Once you begin looking beneath the surface, human behavior starts making far more sense. One of the most valuable skills you can develop is learning the difference between temporary emotions and permanent character. Every human being has difficult days. Everyone experiences stress, disappointment, fear, and frustration. A single emotional moment should never define an entire person. However, when certain behaviors repeat over weeks, months, and years, they stop being accidents and begin becoming patterns. Psychology teaches us that patterns are more reliable than isolated events. Someone who repeatedly keeps promises is demonstrating reliability. Someone who repeatedly avoids responsibility is revealing their mindset. Someone who consistently shows kindness only when it benefits them is showing a pattern that deserves attention. Character is built through repetition, and repetition is exactly what careful observers notice. Another important truth is that people often reveal themselves most clearly during moments of success and failure. Success can expose arrogance just as easily as failure can reveal resilience. Some people become humble when they achieve great things, while others become proud and begin treating people differently. Likewise, some individuals become stronger after setbacks because they learn valuable lessons, while others immediately blame circumstances or other people. These moments act like mirrors, revealing qualities that everyday comfort often hides. That is why emotionally intelligent people do not rush to judge others during easy times. They patiently observe how people behave when life becomes challenging, because pressure has a way of exposing what comfort keeps hidden. Relationships also become healthier when you understand that everyone sees the world through their own experiences. Two people can witness the exact same event and interpret it completely differently because their past has shaped the way they think. Someone who has experienced betrayal may struggle to trust even honest people. Someone who has always received encouragement may naturally expect positive outcomes. Human psychology reminds us that behavior is rarely random. Behind every habit, every belief, and every emotional reaction is a personal history that influences the present. This understanding does not excuse harmful behavior, but it helps replace unnecessary judgment with greater wisdom and patience. Communication improves dramatically when you stop trying to impress people and start trying to understand them. Most conversations fail because each person wants to be heard more than they want to listen. True listening goes beyond hearing words. It involves noticing emotion, energy, pauses, and the meaning hidden beneath simple sentences. Sometimes what a person avoids saying is more important than what they openly express. Sometimes silence communicates disappointment, exhaustion, uncertainty, or reflection far more clearly than a long explanation ever could. Learning to respect silence instead of immediately filling it with more words is one of the most underrated communication skills. Another lesson is that emotional intelligence begins with controlling yourself before attempting to understand others. If you cannot manage your own emotions, every disagreement feels like an attack, every criticism feels like rejection, and every misunderstanding becomes a conflict. Self-control allows you to observe instead of react. It gives you the ability to pause, think, and choose your response instead of becoming controlled by temporary emotions. This single ability transforms relationships because calm people naturally make wiser decisions than emotional people. Human psychology also teaches that every person desires to feel respected, valued, and understood. While people differ in personality, culture, and background, this emotional need is nearly universal. Simple acts of genuine respect often create stronger connections than expensive gifts or impressive speeches. Remembering someone's name, listening without interrupting, showing appreciation, and acknowledging another person's perspective build trust over time. Trust is rarely created through one extraordinary moment. It grows through hundreds of ordinary interactions handled with honesty and consistency. At the same time, understanding psychology means accepting that not everyone deserves unlimited access to your life. Compassion should never replace wisdom. You can understand why someone behaves a certain way while still choosing healthy boundaries. Emotional maturity means recognizing that helping others does not require sacrificing your own peace. Some people inspire growth, while others repeatedly create unnecessary chaos. Learning to recognize the difference protects both your emotional health and your future. Perhaps the greatest mistake people make is trying to change everyone around them. Human psychology suggests that lasting change almost always begins from within. You can encourage people, support them, and inspire them, but you cannot force them to become someone they are unwilling to become. Accepting this truth saves enormous emotional energy. Instead of trying to control others, focus on becoming the kind of person whose own behavior quietly inspires change. As this journey comes to an end, remember that reading people is not about becoming suspicious or cynical. It is about becoming observant, thoughtful, patient, and emotionally intelligent. The more deeply you understand human nature, the less you become controlled by appearances, manipulation, or first impressions. You begin making wiser decisions about friendships, business, relationships, and opportunities. More importantly, you begin understanding yourself with greater honesty. Because the greatest discovery is not learning how to read everyone else. It is learning to read your own thoughts, emotions, habits, and beliefs with complete honesty. The moment you master that skill, you no longer react blindly to the world around you. You move through life with greater confidence, deeper awareness, stronger relationships, and calmer decisions. In the end, the greatest expert in human psychology is not the person who can predict every action. It is the person who combines observation with wisdom, knowledge with humility, and understanding with kindness. That is the true mastery of reading people. And it is a skill that will continue serving you in every conversation, every relationship, and every stage of life.